sound of North Wales. Sound Radio.
Okay, Jeff. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the job that you're doing at present.
My job as a councillor?
As a councillor.
Yeah, well, I'm at the present, I'm a town councillor for the Bay of Conwy Town Council, and this year, since last May, I've been the mayor of the council, which involves, obviously, leading the council, all the meetings and everything, and, going out on all the functions that people invite the mayor.
So you're quite separate from the county? Yeah,
it's a completely separate organisation altogether. People sort of muddle that up, really. I mean, we try to work together, and we try and now some of the county councillors and us to get, they actually started attending, the local county councillors attending our full council meetings, so they can tell us, they give a report of what's going on in the county council, and we can tell them anything that we're not happy with or something. So we try to work together more, but we are two separate organisations altogether. The town councils is obviously we're the Bay of Conwy, you've got Llandudno, Conwy, and then you've got the smaller community councils, Lisford and Mockra, and they are all independent councils.
And there's something that the county has done at present that's really upset you, hasn't it, around the bins?
Yeah, very much so. And everybody else, I think all the public are up in arms about it, because they've extended from 3 weeks. They took it from 2 weeks to 3 weeks for the emptying of the big black bins. And now the cabinet, I must stress it's the cabinet that went against the county council councillors who wanted it put back on hold a bit, but they've voted by 5 votes to 4 to take the bins back to collection every 4 weeks, which is only 12 times a year. At the same time, they put the council tax up by 5%, which we pay to have our bins emptied. So obviously everybody's up in arms about that, because they're struggling with 3 weekly connections, a lot of families and that, not to have the bins overflowing after 3 weeks.
When you say people are up in arms, they're people who've spoken to you, but it's a democratic process through the cabinet whereby a number of different people have put their views round to their members of the council, and the council have gone through a democratic process and a full and open discussion about the issues, and they've had a great deal of data that's been pulled together in terms of the management of the black bins, haven't they?
Yeah, and the real thing is in this issue altogether is the Welsh government have this year they've had it's 10.9 I think something million less to the council that this year than other years, so they have got to find obviously 10.9 million, or I think it's 10 point something million pound from somewhere. So the bins is one of the things, because they have to pay to have it taken to the landfill. So they're trying to save money in that respect.
But it's not just a cost-saving exercise, is it? It's really to reduce waste, because there's a general feeling that there's too much waste going into the black bins and spending a lot of money on just digging a hole and putting waste into it.
Yeah, well, that's entirely, we're all on the town council, we're all in favour of recycling, and we want, more recycling that can possibly be when everybody, but at the moment, and that's why the councillors at the county council level wanted it put back a year or so, because people aren't educated enough yet in recycling, and it's a big issue, because even amongst us, the town council and the town hall, we all have different ideas of what you're supposed to put in what bin and what you can't. Many of us put different things in different bins, so it needs a real education for us. Get people, some people that still don't recycle or put everything in the black bin. So what we're saying is, if you leave it a bit, educate people, then automatically the bins won't be full after 3 weeks because people will be recycling more. So then we can say, we'll go to 4 weeks because, you know, there's room. But the other issue as well, of course, is the main issue what people aren't happy with is the smell.
But there has been a pilot, and that pilot worked very well, and that went
That's
on.
what the county council say it worked very well. They're bound to, aren't they? But you talk to most of the people, it's sort of a lot of the people, over half, 50%. The ones with smaller families...
Can I just ask, have you done any specific research yourself to find out how people are feeling? Have you done any quantitative research?
Yeah, well, we've got a petition up at one of our IMs has got a petition going, and already yesterday, after 1 day, there was 4,500 people plus who'd signed that petition calling on them to reverse, to go back to 3 weeks. There's other petitions on Facebook, other petitions people are doing on their own. You know, and the county councillors themselves, I think, are trying to get, some of them are getting together to sort of do it the judicial way, you know, because they're saying it's against the law that the county council have got to provide the residents with a regular.
So would those residents who you've spoken to or on Facebook, would they agree to putting more money into waste disposal? Or is it just a matter of money? Is it something else though? Because we are just filling holes full of rubbish that don't need to be there.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think most people agree with that, obviously, and I think most people I've spoken to are in favour of recycling. You know, it's just a fact that there's still rubbish that has to go in the black bin, and you can't get away from that.
But is it not just about the black bin? It's what people buy, how they buy, and should people not be taking more responsibility in how they purchase things?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're trying to say. I mean, a gentleman on Facebook said to me that just what you said, you know, that we should be responsible when we go out to the shops as what we buy, the packaging in it. You know, we can get stuff that isn't packaged in plastic and stuff like that. And of course, Iceland have been the forerunner in that. They're reducing their plastic packaging on their own label, and I think, you know, the other supermarkets are bound to follow. So it's a big, I mean, it's the whole countrywide thing, isn't it, and the government and everyone trying to get people to recycle, trying to get the firms to use less plastic. It's a big thing, the plastic. So I think everybody's in favour of that, but you know, what we're saying, I mean, even at schools we're encouraging as well, and the schools the children have been educated in recycling. You know, I help in the local school with a gardening there, and they've got a gardening club, and they've just won an award for their eco things that they do, and recycling is one of the big things that they do. So those children are going to grow up just a normal thing to recycle. But the older ones, of course, we yet to educate fully. So what we're saying is, this 4 bin, until it's actually people are recycling and have got the message, and the firms are producing less stuff wraps that we have to recycle, then you know, this is the wrong time entirely to do it's the first county in the whole of the country to bring in 4-week bin collections.
So shouldn't we be celebrating the local authority for being brave in this way and leading the pack? Because the argument went, no one wanted to stop smoking in pubs or doing a whole range of things, and yet we knew the harm it was doing. Yet we know the harm that we're doing to the environment. We know the harm because it's not just the landfill. There's all the trucks going out all the time. There's a whole range of issues that get involved, and we're leaving a legacy for the children that's just very, very poor.
Yeah, well, nobody's arguing about that. I mean, we should applaud them in the recycling efforts and trying to get it. What everybody's up in arms on is a 4-weekly bin collections, that their bins are overflowing after 3 weeks, and it's not just recycling stuff in it, it's the stuff that we can't recycle. And, you know, people, one of the main complaints I've had are people with cats, because they've got the cat litters in the house and they empty them into the bins, and they smell, you know, and before they put them in, and after 4 weeks, especially in the summer, there's going to be a smell. We've got the council rightly telling us that when we take our dog walks, to take the bags with us and pick up, you know, what the dogs do, and take it back home with you and put it in your bin. And they say that on one hand, and then on the other hand, they say, well, you can do that, but we won't pick up your bins for you regularly, so it's going to smell awful where you've got kids playing, those little kids, and you've got this terrible smell coming from the bin of cat litter and dog poo and rotted fish and everything else, well, you know, bones and mackerel, everything else that's has to be put in the black bin. So we're not saying don't recycle. What we're saying is it comes on hand in hand, that you need to recycle, but you also need to have the bins emptied, because that's what you pay for in your council tax. It's like me really coming to you and saying I'm going to charge you £20 to mow your lawn, and then say, well, you know, I'm not going to come now for 4 weeks. I come every 2 weeks and do it, but I'm going to come every 4 weeks now. So your grass will be miles too long, but you wouldn't pay me.
But the government has been very, very clear about its austerity. It's been very clear that it's not putting money into a whole range of services that traditionally people had expected. And it was put to the nation, and the nation voted for those austerity measures, which means that people are not going to get the same level of services that they've been used to, and going to have to take more responsibility themselves. And there's going to be other charges come in that will penalise those people who are either polluting, either sort of parking, or there's a whole range of issues. But certainly with regard to the bins, the money is not there, and they're asking people to do things differently.
Yeah, but you can't say the money's not there if you're charging somebody, as I said before, using me as a gardener, I can't say to you I'm putting my price up from £20. I come every fortnight and I charge you £20, but from next month I'm going to come every month, charge you still £20 a fortnight, so that'd be £40 a month. I'm still going to charge you £40 a month, but I'm going to give you less service. I mean, that you'd be up in arms, I'm not paying you. Well, that's what's happening with they're putting the council tax up, we're taking away the services, or charging us for them. In the case of now, you have to, if you do any do-it-yourself stuff in your house, and you go down the tip, you've got to be charged for that, which again is encouraging fly tipping, which we're trying to stop.
I think all of these things will have negative impacts in different areas. However, people have got to choose what they want to pay for and what they don't want to pay for. And the choice has been put to the people on a number of occasions. The local authority has done its due diligence and put a lot of money into identifying different ways that it can actually be more environmentally conscious and at the same time reduce its bills and reduce the environmental impact that it's having.
Well, obviously they've got to, as I said at the start, you know, they've got 10 million shortfall, they've got to find the money somewhere, but they always hit the public. They don't find other ways of reducing money, such as their own wages for a start, which for the amount of work they have to do. Some of them are very hard-working councillors and deserve every penny they get, but there's a lot of them that only attend minimum meetings and they still get the same amount of pay and money. There's other areas, and that's what a lot of the public are saying to me. They're taking it on us all the while, but why don't they set an example and, you know, perhaps have less money themselves? I mean, I had one county, well, two actually, who used to be county councillors years ago, older people, and they said when they were county councillors, they didn't get paid. They did it because they love the place where they live and they want to serve the people. That's the same as us on the town council. None of us get paid. We do it because we love the town of the Bay of Conwy, and we want to
I agree. I don't disagree with that, but there are people who need it as an income, and they put their heart and soul into it and do a very, very good job for their people. And the question should be, surely, why should only the rich people have the time and ability to be councillors? Why cannot poor people who actually need to earn an ordinary living wage be supported to actually do good? Because they've got the better experiences in terms of the population that they're representing.
Entirely, and that's what I said. There's some very, very good, hard-working councillors that I know personally, well worth the money. But what I'm saying is, like, if you owned a business and some of your staff were really hard-working, and then you got someone who said to you, I'm not going to come tomorrow, I don't feel like it, you'd soon get rid of them, wouldn't you? Or reduce the wages so you get paid when you're here. And that's what I'm saying. There are other areas where they should look at their home and make the councillors, if they're getting paid, make them either come to the meetings or deduct the pay. That's what people are looking at. So I'm giving you what people are coming to me.
I can see those gripes, but going back to the bins, so you haven't got a problem with it in the longer term when people are more educated around it, which actually suggests people are not educated at present.
Yeah.
But,
neither am I. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like we were discussing earlier, none of us actually know exactly what should go in each bin, especially like the different cardboards.
So why don't you find out?
Well, why
don't you ring up the county council and find out what you should...
It's their job to inform us.
No, why not take responsibility yourself and just ring them or look on a website?
Oh, should I? I mean, yeah, you could go on the website. What I'm saying, people don't. What they should do, if they want this done, is produce leaflets or something. They can send and say, look, this is what recycling is about. Just for example, I've got a friend, the cereal, they have Alpine and things like that in those plasticky type, but not actually plastic. Now, they recycle them, they put them in with the plastics. Now, I said, don't put them in the black bin. I said, they aren't plastic.
But why don't you take responsibility, and why don't other people take responsibility?
That's why we pay county councils
to inform you what to do.
To inform us.
Did it tell you how to get to the bathroom in the morning?
Well, that's silly, isn't it? Because, your mum and dad taught me how to
do that.
And
they provide, and schools are provided a whole range of different things.
Well, they are now, that's what we're saying. But we're talking about education from the children up. The kids nowadays have been taught at school, when they get old enough to have their own families and that, they'll know, and they'll be teaching their own kids like my mum taught me how to get to the bathroom. And that, it'll be the same for the...
I hate to say it, but it sounds as though you're just being obstinate.
I'm not being obstinate at all.
The information's there. The county council have got it. You've got the capacity and ability to just go and find out. Or you could just speak to someone, or the people here could be, or the council could help in that.
People could, but what I'm saying is people are going to be... You've just educated in me to say, why don't you phone up? Well, that's what we're saying. It's the wrong time to do the 4-week bins now because people aren't educated. That should be got out. We have got websites where we can just put it on. You can go on the website, most people have got a computer, and see how you recycle.
But there's an app you can have down for your mobile phones that give you a personalised ability to manage your waste and everything.
But I didn't know that.
It's all on the website. It's very, very simple. I just went and had a look and I don't even live in the area.
Yeah, but how many people, the older people that wouldn't have a clue how to get into
But I think that's a separate issue about sort of the digital age and everything. But actually, you're not that young, are you? You're over 20.
And a bit, you're just a bit.
And a bit. and I may be a bit over 20 as well. So why can you do it and other people can't? I know lots of people who are quite elderly. They do all sorts of things.
Because I've been shown, and there are courses at the college which people should be told about, which they can go on and do all the IT for older people and learn how to do it. We're not saying that, and we're not saying that it shouldn't at one time go back to 4 weeks. None of the county councils who wanted deferred for a year, they were just saying, and we're just saying, this is not the right time to do it. Let's educate the people, like you've just been saying, get them to know do the recycling, get them to know, like you said, when people come back from taking the dogs and they got the bags, put it down the toilet, not the bag, but the, what is in it, flush it. There's all these things that can be done and taught so that gradually the black bins will be empty. After 3 weeks, most people's will be room for another week in there. That's the time then to say, right, we're going to go to 4 weeks because, there's plenty of room. We don't need to waste the money going 3 weeks when you've got... The 3 week, at 3 weeks people are struggling with at the moment, and it's causing a lot of problems for ones with bigger families. Now, if you've got 6 living in the house, you can have an extra big bin, which does away with the problem. But if you've only got 5, you can't. And a lot of people don't even know. I didn't know that till all this blew up, and one of the county councillors, well, one of the head ones at the council told me that, if you've got 6 in the family, you can have an extra bin. A lot of people don't know they can have a nappy bin, that's collected every week. And also, especially grandparents who look after the kids while their own children are at work, they look after the grandkids, like my wife does, and we have to put the nappies in our bin. But unless you're doing it regular, you can have a nappy bin if you're doing it regularly, even as grandparents, but nobody knows about that.
But you've got about 4,000 people who you're saying who don't agree with it, and a whole range of different people.
I think it's a few more than 4,000.
And they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, they're on all the social media, they're using all their stuff. And yet I just had a quick look on the council's website, and it tells you how to do all of these things. It tells you when you can get sort of free help to do particular things. And actually, I thought it was quite supportive.
Yeah, but you've got to educate people to go to the website like
So why don't you just tell the people who contact you, go to the county website, here's a link on my Facebook page.
You're talking about the recycling. I do encourage people to go. I didn't know there was a web page yet myself, so I couldn't tell people about it. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the black bins, and that doesn't. And what you're saying is correct, and that's what we're saying. But it takes time. We've got to get into people's head that they can go onto the website, that they can look at this, they can sort out the recycling. And together with the education that we're giving the kids, the education we can give to the grown-ups who don't know how to recycle, that there are information out there, getting them to use it, and then, together with the firms who've got to have responsibility for the amount of plastic that they produce, then this will all solve itself. As I said, that's what we're hoping, that people won't use the black bins because we're recycling more. So that we can say, 4 weeks, but at the moment, at this precise moment now, it's going to cause no end of problems. And the Cabinet, they only voted 5-4 for it. And as I said, most of the others, the 4 Conservatives have voted against it, and that. They're not against the 4-week collection, and again, they're just saying it's the wrong time to do it. There's a way of doing things.
Have you listened to that Cabinet meeting? Have you watched it? Because
I saw some of it where Sam Rowlands was speaking, and in fact, the head of the council said that he thought it was the wrong time. It should be delayed a bit, because like most of them do, that's it. They're not against the 4 weeks. They're against it now when people need it. Need the bins emptied.
So how are you going to make a difference in terms of helping people to recycle more, to pollute less, support the council so that they can spend their money on more worthy things than digging a hole and putting a load of trash in it? How are you going to make a difference?
Was us personally, is it me or it's...
Both you and your office.
We'll do what we do in educate more, put what money we got into educational people. We've just given 2,200, I think it was, to instructing the schools about litter and dog mess, to make people aware the kids, you know, in schools about dropping litter, because the kids are just, you know, take the wrapper off and chuck it on the floor, and to educate them what happens to it, you know, and to keep their place tidy and nice. So we're doing what we can as a council to encourage people and encourage them to use the website like you say and that, and to look at it. But at the end of the day, we serve the people. If the people want 3 weekly bins, it's up to us as councillors to, they put us here in office, it's them that voted for us, and I think so often we forget that that's why we're here.
But it's not to have 3 weekly bins, because I remember when there was 1 a week, and then it used to be every couple of weeks, and it keeps on going. Surely your job is to manage a range of resources and support the people, and there's a whole well-being agenda, there's a whole range of agendas that are coming up, and surely it's not a single issue, it's about how you support your community overall to move forward with dwindling resources, which people voted for, and how do you support the next generation moving forward? How do you support this generation? And how do you support your colleagues in other parts to make very difficult decisions about how to spend a limited amount of money?
Well, that's all part of a bundle, isn't it? It's like you said, the well-being, and there's other things coming in which we're trying to support and improve. And educate people is the main thing in the different resources, the different ways, because people, as you just quite rightly said, it used to be weekly, fortnightly, and it takes time to educate people in recycling in the first place, and we've come a long way. The amount of people every year goes up, the amount of recyclable stuff, and so we hope that it's going to get better every year, but it's still, it doesn't take away from the fact that at the moment bins are still full, bins still smell, and it's an health hazard. It brings rats and vermin.
So how long do you think it will take? What time scale do you think you would give the council to make sure that everything happened? Because they've got some highly trained and skilled officers that are implementing this.
Yeah.
How quick would you want that to happen? How quick can you see that it happen?
I'd go along with most of the county councillors, which would say that it should be delayed for about 12 to 24 months, and, you know, to keep an eye on the, you know, the amount of recycling, the amount of bins, the amount of waste in the bins, to encourage people to do more recycling, to make the black bins less in it. And like I said, it sort of answers the question itself as a whole, because you'll know, as I said, if the bin men are going round after 3 weeks, they're only half full. You know, so we can get to 4 weeks because waste of time emptying half full bins. But it's giving time for people to be educated. Some people will never be educated because they take the attitude, it's my rubbish, I'll do what I want with it. I'm not going to recycle it. Let them sort it out at the tip. And I can see their point. They're paying their council tax, and they say, well, why should I sort it out? Don't give us a reduction in the council tax. I mean, I must admit, I had that sort of idea before I become a councillor and got it to know everything that's in there. But the fact of the matter is education and giving them time. Sorry about that. Giving them time to...
So we're going to see a change on your Facebook page. We're going to see a change about what you're doing to enable you to help your friends, your colleagues, the people that you come into contact on a regular basis with, to change their behaviour.
Well, the newspaper again. My Facebook page says recycle. You know.
But you're going to tell people how to do it.
Well, that's up to not up to my job. It's up to the Conwy.
No, but you're not going to support your colleagues in the council.
If they do a U-turn on this, we'll support them returned. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's been
Pleasure.
very, very
It's
helpful.
been great for the conversation and the opportunity.
Thank you.
Cheers.
The big sound of North Wales. Sound Radio.